Hello and welcome everybody to this Ranorex live webinar. My name is Martin. I'm part of the engineering team here at Ranorex in Austria, and this is the automated mobile app testing webinar, and within the next approximately 45 minutes I will present to you how easy it is to create test cases against the mobile application with Ranorex and run these automated test cases from Ranorex Studio. Before we begin the presentation, may I ask your audience if you're able to hear my voice and also if you're able to see the slideshow on your screens. Please provide a short feedback through the questions panel of GoToWebinar about the audio signal, and also if you're able to see the slideshow on your screens. I will wait for a short feedback through that question and answer panel, and then I will start the webinar itself. This questions panel is usually located on the upper right corner of your desktop computer. Just provide a short feedback and then we will start the presentation itself. So there is no feedback until now. Let me check my audio settings. That looks good. All right, there is some feedback. Thank you for that. All right, let's take a look on the agenda of this webinar here. At the beginning, I will give you a general overview about Ranorex, just a few minutes, and then I will go into the tool. I will create a live cross-technology end-to-end test case for you, and after some concluding slides, I will go over all your questions. In case if you have questions, please use this questions panel and write the question to me. I will try to answer the question immediately, or at least at the end of the webinar, I will go over all your remaining questions. All right. For your information, the webinar is recorded. You will also receive a link to download the video of the session after the webinar, and I will also include some further information about Ranorex and our contact details, of course, to the follow-up email. Let's start over with the general overview about Ranorex. Ranorex is a test automation tool, and with Ranorex you can automate tests on any UI technology. So you can automate mobile applications on Android and iOS. You can also automate Windows client applications, and you can also do web testing with Ranorex. So that is really one tool supporting all these three UI technologies, mobile, desktop, and web. And the nice thing is that all these three UI technologies are supported by one single tool, which is the Ranorex Studio, supporting all these different UI technologies. The test cases you have created in Ranorex Studio can further be integrated into test management systems, for example, the Quality Center of HP or the Microsoft Test Manager or any other test management system. On the other hand, if you have a more develop-driven approach within your company, then we also provide the possibility to include Ranorex test cases into your existing continuous integration process using a build server. If you already have such a process in your company, then you can really use this infrastructure to run the Ranorex test cases as well. So as you can see on this slide, one tool supporting different UI technologies, and you have the possibility to integrate this into test management systems or into continuous integration processes. Let's take a closer look on the technology coverage here. As mentioned before, mainly desktop, web, and mobile. For you, more interesting, since you're attending the mobile webinar, is mobile testing. We are supporting mobile automation on Android and iOS. You can automate native apps on Android and iOS, web applications, and also hybrid applications, which is a combination of a native application including web content within your application, like PhoneGap is using that. Also supported is Xamarin, and as mentioned before, HTML, so web testing on mobile is also possible to do. So let's take a look on the test scenario I will create for you within this webinar. We will, of course, focus on mobile. I will demonstrate to you how to create test cases on a mobile application. I will choose an Android application for that, but if you're interested in iOS, doesn't matter. The way how to define these test cases, these actions, is really the same for any UI technology. In that webinar, you will see how to do that with Android. It's the same for iOS. And I will also add a few things on a web application. So I create a cross-technology test case within that webinar. That means we will also include another technology in our scenario here. It will be web as well. So mainly we are working on mobile, but we also will include some web content to this webinar as well. So the test scenario in more detail, we will start on the mobile app. We will use the Amazon app on an Android device. On the Amazon app, there will be a user logged in, and I will search for a book on Amazon. I will add this book to the cart of this logged in user, and then I will also that will be the third part of the first part of the webinar. In the second part, we will go across technologies as mentioned before. I will open that one user on the Amazon website on my client computer. On the Internet Explorer over there, I will open the cart and I will see if the book I added to the cart on the mobile device is really in the cart also on the web application on my client computer. Then I will delete this book from the cart on the client computer, and then I will go back to the mobile application and see if the cart is empty over there at the end of the webinar. So that will be the cross-technology test case I will create and present to you within that webinar. I hope you're fine with this agenda, and yeah, I guess you want to see the tool in live demo here, and therefore let's start this over. In the background, I already have my Ranorex Studio open, as you can see. Let me give you a short overview about Ranorex Studio. On the right side, I have here my device pane where I see all the connected devices. Currently, my Galaxy Tab P7500 is connected. On the left side, we have this project browser here. The project browser displays all the files currently available in my project. I can also add projects here through the project browser to source control if you want to use that. On the bottom left side, we have the Ranorex module browser. I already have a few modules prepared. These are the modules for the for automating the Amazon web application, and here for Android we have one recording currently there, which is empty. And let's open this recording here with a double click, and you see it's empty, and we are now starting really from the scratch. I will click the record button here on top of my recorder, and on that pop-up I can choose whatever I want to do, a global recording. If I want to run an application at the beginning, so that's for desktop application testing. If I want to record some actions on a web page, or if I want to do a mobile recording, and that is what we are going to do now. I will select my device, my GTP 7500, and I want to automate the Amazon app. So I will choose the Amazon app here. I start the recording. Before I do that, let me just put my Ranorex Studio next to my webcam here. So for your information, this is a webcam showing my device. So this is really a physical device, and I will record on that device a few actions. So let's start over. I click here again the record button. I choose the device, and yeah, I will click on start, and on my device the Amazon app will be launched, and my recorder is now in recording mode. Let's start over recording some actions over there. I will start, and I will make sure that I'm on the main page of my app. I will do that by opening the menu here, and I say I want to go to the home page of the Amazon app. Okay, now I'm on the home page. Let's look for a book. I will open that menu bar again, and I touch the search button here, and I will type in now software test automation. I want to look for the book software test automation. So let's type in software test automation. There you go. software test automation, I touch the Go button, and now I receive a list of books here. And I want to select the first one. There you go. So let's stop the recording here and let's see what Ranorex recorded until now. As you can see, at the beginning, I was launching my application, Run Mobile App Action, on my GT P7500. That's the app I wanted to run. Then I was pressing the mobile key press menu, so I pressed the menu button and then I touched the home button of my app here. Then I pressed the menu button again and then I touched the button search. And now I have here a set value action. As you see, I was setting the text for my search text software test automation. By the way, the screenshot you see here provides an overview about the element I was working on during the recording. After I typed in software test automation, I touched the Go button. Now the app was looking for the book, and then I was touching here my book software test automation I wanted to choose. So this is on top of my action table. You see 8 actions are recorded until now. And separated from the action table, you have something else here on the bottom, and that is my Ranorex repository. That is the central point of maintenance within your Ranorex Studio project. This is my UI mapping. You see, for all items I'm using within my test case until now, I have a repository entry over there. To show you now that this is really a UI mapping, let me show you the following. My action number 8, this is, for example, a touch action on the item called item row image. So let me rename that on the left side. That's just a logic name to the, let's call it item to add. Okay, so that's a logic name which you can change. Maybe you should change it to have meaningful names within your repository. So let me now demonstrate to you that this is really a UI mapping. I have my application still open here on the side, and this item to add here is the representation within my repository for that element, right, we touched before. And let me show you now that there is really a connection between the repository over there and my element over there. Let me do that through highlight element. As you can see here, there is really a connection. You see this red border. Let me do that again. So you see there is really a connection between my item in the repository and the item here on the device. All right, so let's also add, for example, here, let's say you want to have a screenshot of the item you want to touch before you touch it. No problem. You take the element from there and you can just drag and drop it up and you say, I want to have a report action on that, a screenshot before I actually touch it. That's also possible. So let's play back these 9 actions here. I click the play button again and you will see Ranorex will launch the application on the device again and start the automation. So you see the app is launched again. I'm touching the home button, then touching the search button in the menu, and then I'm typing in software test automation, followed by a click on a touch on the button Go over there. All right. So my report now also contains, as you can see here, a screenshot of the item I wanted to add to the I'm interested in, and you also see all other actions were executed. Okay, let's close this one here, and yeah, I think we should resume the recording. So I just click here on the record button, and I can now resume my recording on the device over there. So next thing is I want to add this device, add this book here to the cart. So how I'm doing this, I go down there and here you see there is a button called Add to Cart. Let's touch this one here. And now I have a menu here and I can choose Go to Cart or Continue Shopping. Let's go to the cart. And we are now in the cart. As you can see, my book is in the cart, and also over there you see that one item is in the cart. Let me do a validation at this point. In Ranorex, that's called validation. Other tools might call it checkpoints. We call it validation. Let me show you how easy it is. I click here on my computer on the Validate button. Now I receive a validation dialog. On the validation dialog, you already see the structure of your application. So you can now navigate on the one hand through the structure of your application through clicking here through the tree view. You can also use the screenshot view here. We are interested in that card here on top. You can also scroll in. And so in that way I can navigate through my application, and finally I am there on the element I want to validate on. That's the text. The text should match the value 1 at this time since one item is in the cart. So that's the item I'm interested in. We can also highlight the element, so then you will see here again a red border. So let's do this. You can really double check, alright, that's the element I'm looking for. So I click the next button. Now I receive a list of all attributes which are currently available within my for my element I'm interested in. Let's validate on the text. The text should match the value 1 at this time. So that's fine if that is activated. So I click the button OK. So that was my validation. Let's continue. I touch here now on the delete button. This is deleting now my element. And let me check now that the card is empty again by validating the card count 0 here again. So how do I do that? Like before, I click the validate button. And now I directly jump to this item. I already know that's the one. I can also double check, highlight element, there you go. I click the next button and I want to validate on the text again. That's it. And after that, I stop my recording and we can take a look on the actions we have. Now we have 14 actions, and yeah, let's continue on action number 10 here. I was touching Add to Cart. Then I was touching Go to Cart, as you remember, I hope. Then I validated the content of my cart. It should be 1 at this time. Then I deleted the element from the cart, and then I was doing a validation against 0 again. If I want to close my application at the very end of my test case, no problem. I just take the respective element in the repository, which is representing my whole application. That's this root element. I drag and drop it up and I say close application. There you go. So in addition, let's also add some screenshots of the whole application while doing the validation, for example. So action number 12. Let's do here a screenshot of the whole application. I drag and drop it up and say report. Now, so if you want to have a screenshot of your empty cart, we can also do that after clearing the cart. I create another screenshot of my whole application. So we have now 17 actions, including also some screenshot actions, and at the end the action close application is also there. So let's play back these 17 actions again. You will see nothing new. I'm going here to the menu and open the menu here, and then I touch the home button, followed by a touch on the search button, and then I'm typing in software test automation to the search bar on top, touching the go button, selecting the first element here, followed by the validation on the adding one element to the card, and then I'm validating that the card has one element in there, followed by deleting the element, and after the element was deleted, I will validate the empty card again, and finally I close the application. You see, all recorded and defined actions were played back without any problem. We have now screenshots of the elements we are interested in, and another screenshot of the card containing my element. Also the card count 1 is over there, and also there the empty card we also have a screenshot of. Alright, are there any questions until now? Questions about how to capture these actions? Questions about the repository maybe? There is already a question in the questions panel about connecting devices and stuff like that. I will go over this at the end of the webinar, but currently if you have a question on the things I presented to you until now, then please feel free to use this questions panel. I'm glad to answer this, of course. But if there are no questions at the time on the things I presented to you until now, then I want to move on with the next point on my agenda. I want to show you how to create modules in Ranorex. Modules like here, we already have a few modules. Modules are reusable small pieces which you can use for any test case. Currently, we have 17 actions in my recording 1. These actions are running the application, searching an element, validating on the card, and closing the application at the end. So different actions, and now I want to create meaningful reusable modules out of that. For action number 1, this is just running my application. I want to move that into a new recording module. I can do that through the context menu, and I give it the name Start Amazon App. That's now a new module called Start Amazon App, containing only the action of running my mobile application. Then, in my recording 1, as you can see here, 16 actions are left. Action number 16 actually is just closing my Amazon app. Let's move that also to a new module called Close Amazon App. We have another module, you already see it there, Close Amazon App. Now, let's go to these remaining 15 actions. Action number 1 to action number 8, I guess. This is these are the modules of adding one element to the card. So search an element and add the element to the card. Let's move that into a new module called Search and Add to Card. Recording 1 now only have 5 actions left. So I want to do a validation on the card. These are the actions 1 and 2. Validate card. Then my action number 1, this is the action which was deleting my my element from the card. Let me rename that here to delete from card. And then my remaining 2 actions in the card, they are actually just validating that the card is empty again. Let me rename that recording 1 into validate empty card now. So out of one recording module, I created now several recording modules, like starting the app, searching an item. So I splitted that with one recording into reusable recording modules. I go now into the test suite of Ranorex Studio through this button here. And in the test suite, I can define my test cases now. I already have one. It's called Amazon Demo. And now I do drag and drop in order to define the sequence of executed modules. At the beginning, let me start the app. After that, I want to search an item and add it to the cart. Then I want to validate that the cart has the element in there. Then I want to delete the item from the cart. I want to validate the empty cart, and finally I want to close the application. So with drag and drop, I can define the sequence of my executed of my modules executed within my test case Amazon demo. So I have a sequence of modules, and each module is a sequence of actions. All right, we have nothing new. That's the same test case as before, but now it is a real test case, and I can reuse these small pieces I have defined, these modules. So let's play back this test case Amazon demo. And you can follow here that there is nothing new. It is just executing the same actions, but this time I already have reusable modules in my project. Okay, so we are going to the main page. Then we are looking for the item. And after we search for the item, we select the first one, which is software test automation. We take a look on the detailed page of this element, and then we go to add to cart. Then after adding the element to the cart, we want to check out the cart, what is in there, and you want to validate the cart count. And after deleting the element from the cart, we want to validate that the cart is empty, close the application at the end of the test case. And we have now a real test case where you see, all right, one successful test case, and on there you see the executed modules, and within that you see the logging information. And in validate card you see also screenshot. Okay, is there a question on splitting one existing recording into reusable modules, and also how to reuse those modules? If not, then I want to move on, and I want to show you now how to set up such a cross-technology end-to-end test case I was talking at the beginning of the presentation. I create a new test case. I give it the name end-to-end Amazon cart test case. So my new test case will contain all these modules from the existing test case. So let me copy that here and paste it to this new test case. So you see I'm already reusing those modules. But now the difference is that I start the app at the beginning. Then I search and add the item to the cart. I validate the cart on the device. That is fine. But now I'm opening the Amazon web page. And then I check the cart on the web. I delete the item on the web. Therefore, I don't need to delete it from the Amazon app anymore. So let's delete that module here. And then I close my web page and I validate the empty cart on the device again. And then I close the Amazon app. So I reuse now these existing modules I have created before, and I use these prepared modules I have created before, or a colleague of mine already created that for me, and I just reuse these modules for checking the cart on the Amazon web page. And you see, no problem, one test case is going cross technologies. We can take a look on these web modules later a little bit if you want to see what is in there, but it's basically the same actions on repository items, while these repository items are not referring to an item on the mobile device, but to an item on the application on the web application of Amazon. So let's run this cross-technology end-to-end test case. So we are starting again on the mobile application. As you can see, we are starting the mobile app over there. And then I'm looking for the item test automation, software test automation. And then I add this item to the cart, I validate the cart, and then I open Internet Explorer with my Amazon web page. So there is it. Amazon.com in Internet Explorer. I go to the cart of the respective logged in user. Okay, it looks like I have a problem with my predefined cart items. So looks like something is going on there. So let me very quick analyze this. What I'm missing here. Give me a second. There you already see how easy it is to capture some wrong elements. So maximize this, open Amazon Web, check cart web, that should do it. There's the item which is not working. Okay, it looks like Amazon again changed something on the identification of the cart element here on top. Yeah, that's actually, that happens daily. So I checked this execution half an hour before and it worked, but now it has a problem. So yeah, that's Amazon, but now that's already much better. And let me also check that. So sorry for that inconvenience here. So let's see, let me move on. Then I will play that back again. Okay, that will work again. And finally, we also should take a look on that if that works. No, that's not an A tag anymore, a div tag anymore, it's an A tag it looks like. So yeah, there you go. Okay, sorry for that. I will run that again. But really funny is that I checked this half an hour before that presentation and it already worked, and then they changed it within that time. So sorry for that. Let me run that again. The Amazon test case and the end-to-end Amazon cart test case. All right, so we are now going to the homepage again of my Amazon app. Then I am searching the item I'm looking for. I add this to the cart. And then I go to the cart. I will check the cart count here. And then I open the web page and I'm going to the cart. I validate that the element is in the cart. I also validate that the element is deleted from the cart and that the cart is empty again. Okay, I didn't check that, so come on. That's very bad today with the Amazon web page. I'm very sorry that I didn't check the delete the card count 0. Oh, there you go. There we have it as well. So I'm very sorry that this was not working now, but yeah, I will give it a last chance. And we already saw these executed here. So let's see if the card is already empty. Yeah, that's fine. So one last chance. Sorry. And in the meantime, maybe I can go over a few questions here while we see the fifth time, I guess, the actions executed on the device. So one question is if you can simulate more users load using Ranorex Studio to run from the same device. So you want to simulate more applications running on the same device at one time, right? So that is actually not possible on one device. You can only run one action. You can only automate one action at one application at one time with Ranorex. So finally we are going again on the Amazon web page. And now hopefully everything works. So we are opening the web page again. We are going to the cart. We will validate that the cart has one item in there. We delete the element from the cart. And after we deleted the element from the cart, we validate that the count is empty. And after that, we close Amazon.com. And then we are back on the mobile device, and I forgot to add the go to cart action. Oh, this Amazon app confused me today, so I'm very sorry for that. So now we are validating that the cart is empty, and then we are closing the application again. So, but you already saw that you can set up a cross-technology end-to-end test case with Ranorex, and yeah, you saw it now executed on the GT7500, right? So let me use now the Nexus 7 here. I have also there, so let me take the Nexus 7 here. So that's the Nexus 7. And it's also now in portrait mode, as you can see. Before we recorded in landscape mode. And now you also see that we reused the GT7500, so a Samsung Galaxy Tab. It was running Android 3.1, but now we activate also our Nexus 7. The Nexus 7 is now running Android 4.4.4, and in addition, it is also running the app now on portrait mode. And you will see, no problem, due to the object recognition of Ranorex, no problem. I can also run this recorded end-to-end test case on my Nexus 7, which runs a total different operating system. It's running Android 4.4.4, while the GT7500 was running the 3.1.1 before. So we also have a new operating system, but no big deal. The only thing we have to change is here, run application. We just use, instead of the Galaxy GT7500, we take the Nexus 7 and we run this test suite now against the Nexus 7. So that also, I guess, answers question number 1, how you identify between the mobile devices, so just through the run application. And as you can see now, we are starting the Amazon app now on the Nexus 7. We are opening the menu over there as well. We go to the home button and then we open the menu again. We go to search, we type in software test automation. We select the first element. We add to the cart. And then, after the element is in the cart, we validate the cart, open the Amazon web page. We validate the content of the cart here on the web page. The element is in there. And then we delete the element from the cart here on the web page, validate the empty cart on the web page, and close the application. Go to the cart on the mobile application, and we validate that the cart is empty here as well. That's it. You saw the cross-technology end-to-end test case, which we created on the Galaxy tab in landscape mode with running an Android 4X version, was executed on the Nexus 7 with Android 4.4.4 in portrait mode. No problem due to the object recognition of Ranorex. Alright, before I will go now over your final questions, let me show you just also that there is hardly any difference on automating a web application or a mobile application. If we take a look on the validation on the empty card here, or let's take the validation of the card. You see my validation of the card. It's just a validation action on the text attribute of the card count element on the mobile device. And if you open the same for the web application, you see it is also a validation, in that case against the inner text attribute, that's the attribute of HTML, which should match 1. So it's really no difference when you do automation on a web or a mobile application. Now let me show you some summing up slides here. In the presentation you saw an object-based click and go recorder. You saw I recorded actions on the GT 7500 in landscape mode and executed this on portrait mode on the Nexus 7. And that's working due to the object recognition. We do not rely on coordinates or screenshots. We really work on objects identified by Ranorex. No rooting or jailbreaking is required to run test cases on your mobile devices. You saw in the presentation different technologies, so I also automated the web application. You saw we also can automate any version of Android or any version of iOS on different devices. You also saw on different device orientations. One test case, one tool, Ranorex Studio can support all of this. So why do you want to choose Ranorex for your test automation tool? So maybe you have multiple environments, devices and software applications. Then Ranorex is a perfect match for you, since we support any UI technologies, mobile, web and client applications with one single tool with one license. For frequent software releases, upgrades and changes, we offer robust test automation based on objects. What we mean with robust test automation, this is one topic of our best practices webinar, best practices using Ranorex Studio. That is next week on Thursday at 10 a.m. Central European time zone. I will also show you where you can subscribe to this best practices webinar. There you will find further information about Ranorex, also how to work with different skill sets, responsibilities and multiple teams. This broad acceptance will also be explained in the best practices webinar. For your agile processes, comprehensive tool chains, we offer seamless integration into any test management or any build server. So I mentioned that at the beginning of the webinar as well. And for the time and resource creep to manage the software quality within your company, we offer a quick return on investment. It's quite easy to create test cases, and these test cases can of course be reused all and all over again in regression tests, and that's definitely increasing your quality and providing a return on investment. For your information, we do have worldwide customers. You see on this map here where our customers are located, and we also do have a couple of service partners all over the world. and also training partners. Interesting for you maybe is the Central European part. Also Australia, India and Japan might be interesting for you. So we have partners providing also not just English speaking classes for trainings, but also for let's say Hungary or in Germany or United Kingdom or in France. We do have partners as well. We are headquartered here in Central Europe in Austria, and we also do have a North American headquarters in the Clearwater area in Florida in the United States. So before I go to your questions, I want to say that we will follow up with our contact details. We will also include download links to further information about Ranorex, also further information about test automation on mobile applications, and we also include the link to download the session, the video of this webinar. For future questions, please just reply to the follow-up emails, and I really highly recommend to attend our other webinars. So if we go to this page, you will see we do have another webinar, another startup webinar about desktop and web application testing, but highly recommended is this advanced webinar, the best practices using Ranorex Studio. As mentioned before, it will be for Central European time zones this September the 4th at 10 a.m. Central European time zone, so within this week on Thursday. All right, so let's go back to your questions. The question number one is the following. I have multiple mobile devices. How the Ranorex Studio identify the specific device? What kind of config setup we need to do before recording from specific Android or iOS device? So when you connect your device through USB for Android, please make sure that USB debugging is enabled on the device, and then you just go to Add, you choose Android, you choose USB, and then it will be already there. Also, please install the USB drivers of the respective device, then it will already be listed here. If you choose the approach through network, then you just make sure that the device is connected to the same network as your computer, and then it will be visible to you as well. For iOS, it's quite the same. You have to add this to your developer profile, and then the device to your developer profile, and then add it through USB or through network. So it's pretty straightforward, as you see on this dialog. Question number two, can we simulate more users load using Ranorex Studio to run from the same device? As mentioned before, it's only possible to run one test case, one application on the device at one time with Ranorex. If there are two Nexus 7 or other devices, how does the Ranorex identify the specific Nexus 7 device? Do we need to add specific device number or other details in Ranorex? So if you have two Nexus 7s, then just use another name for it, Nexus 7, for example, like that. Then it's within the Ranorex Studio unique again. I hope that answers your question. Then there is another question. What is the cost of one Ranorex floating license? You can receive this information through our website. You go to ranorex.com, you go to pricing, and then you see the premium, node-locked, or floating license price. Follow-up question is, so we should always connect our device through USB cable with Ranorex running PC. As mentioned before, we also offer the possibility to connect the devices through Wi-Fi through network. So you can choose network or USB. Up to you. And that's also further described here on our website. You just go to Android, for example. Here you look for Android, and then you see how Android testing is working with Ranorex. So that's described. Also the infrastructure is described on this page. And another question is, how is Ranorex different from other mobile test automation tools like Appium? So I guess a huge difference is that the mobile solution of Ranorex is directly included to an existing tool into Ranorex Studio. So if you're already familiar with Ranorex Studio, you don't have to learn a new tool. You just connect the devices and you can start on working with it. And also the Ranorex Studio provides already lots of functionalities to have a maintainable project, to run cross-technology test cases. So it's really one tool providing support for different UI technologies, and one is mobile testing. So if you're at the time interested in mobile testing, and maybe in half a year you want to say, I also want to do web testing with Ranorex, you don't have to buy a new license. Just use the tool and that's it. And there's a follow-up comment. Folks with no programming skills can use Ranorex and do automation. That's true. You don't have to touch the code. It's possible. That is also presented in the best practice webinar on Thursday. So you can do it, but you don't have to do it. So if you are interested to see how to write some lines of code, if you want to see that, if you want to use that, then please feel free to attend the webinar on Thursday. All right. Further questions from your side? So I want to again say sorry for the inconvenience with the Amazon web page. Really, half an hour before the webinar, I was running that test case and it worked. And yeah, actually they changed something on the web page. And yeah, but you also saw it's no big deal. I was very quick on solving that issue, on changing the web application. That's also a benefit of Ranorex, that this is really straightforward, and yeah, that's the central point of maintenance, our Ranorex repository. Another question is, can we test native applications as well? Sure, that was a native application. The Amazon application was a native application, also including some web content. That was really a hybrid application. That's really the most challenging technology on web on mobile applications. It's a native application containing some web parts, and Ranorex is really able to work on that. Another question, Ranorex is scalable for any new or upcoming technology. Yes, and that's really one of our main goal and our main objective, to have the best tool for test automation, to have the best object recognition, and we are really working hard on that. And as you can see on our portfolio about the UI technologies, we support on mobile already, Android and iOS, and also web testing and hybrid apps and native apps testing is possible on mobile. And for web application, we are really always on the latest versions. Also for Firefox, we are supporting the latest versions as well. So that's really one of our main objectives, and we are really working hard to support the latest and new and upcoming technologies. For your information, the next iOS operating system will be there soon, and we are already also working on the beta version. And if the new version is available, also Ranorex will support it immediately. Question is, what is Ranorex market share compared to other mobile automation tools? So as you can see on the slide, we do have worldwide customers. At the time, it is about, I guess 1,700 customers we do have all around the world. We are still a quite young company, so we were founded in 2007, but we are really in the market, and I guess we will really offer one of the best tools, tools when you think of of next generation test automation where you don't have to write code and support many UI technologies. So yeah, we are really good in the market, and also especially in the United States with the office over there. We are really have a growing market share over there as well, and also on the whole world. The question is, who is your competitor in mobile automation space? So I know that there are open source frameworks available, but you don't have the features on open source tools like you have in Ranorex Studio. You have a test suite, you can do data-driven testing and all that stuff out of the box, and you don't have to care about implementing the recognition for specific objects. So that's out of the box there, and I think we are quite unique with our solution, which is really so nicely integrated into an existing solution. I know that there are competitors out there which can be integrated in several other test automation tools, but you still have to copy-paste code, and if the code is once copy-paste, you have to maintain that in code, and in Ranorex you don't have to do that. You saw that during the webinar I was adding actions manually to the actions table, so you don't have to touch the code for that. So if an existing recording you want to modify it, just do it without touching the code. So yeah, I guess we really have one of the smartest solutions at the time for mobile application, and also one of the smartest application for test automation for different UI technologies. So yeah. All right, you're most welcome. If you have further questions on that, just write it now to me or reply to our follow-up email. So if you don't have further questions anymore, then I want to say thank you for the attention. Also, thank you for the great questions and the discussion at the end of the webinar. And there is actually one more question. Is it possible to integrate into continuous integration? I mentioned that a few times in the webinar, but no problem. Let me show that to you again. So where is the slide about that? So I mentioned that at the beginning on that slide, that we support different UI technologies, and here you see continuous integration tools, build servers. And if you want to see in more detail how that works, just go to our website, go to ranorex.com, and then you go to the blog, and in the blog section we have an integration section where it is described how to add Ranorex to Jenkins, to TeamCity or any other build server and stuff like that. So let me send that link to you here. All right, then I want to say again, thank you for the attention. For further questions, just reply to the follow-up email. We are glad to answer this. And yeah, thank you for the questions. I hope I gave a good overview about Ranorex, about the capabilities for mobile testing. And also, I hope you see or you saw the benefits of Ranorex over other competitors' tool, how easy it is to create, for example, a cross-technology test case in Ranorex mobile and web testing. All right, no questions are there. Thank you again. I wish you all a nice day. Take care. Bye.